Okay, where we left off yesterday. I'll wait till my class actually is respectful, paying attention. Okay. So we talked about cheese production. We talked a bit about cheese. We watched a video about cheese. We looked at all the different types of cheese. Shh. Yes, we did.
Why is this a label?
Oh. Shh, stop. Yes. Okay. So like I said, we will read the whole section, then you will write. So we did not write yet. So just really quickly what I read last time. We went through this section here. Okay, we talked about how cheese is an industrial process improved by biotechnology. We went into what's happening when you put the milk, and basically milk plus bacteria produces the lactic acid. And eventually you get curds and whey, and the curds gets pressed into cheese. Okay, so it's like basics of cheese. We also talked about how cheese is still developing, right? Cheese is like a whole world. Guys, that table over there now is maybe my concerning table. No, I don't need that. That's so like 8th grade response. Let's not do that. Thank you. Really? Okay. No, you guys, yeah, you guys are not gonna be like that. Go out quietly, stand where we're supposed to stand. Yeah. Sorry, John, we had a fire drill. Quickly. Okay, let's just continue. Guys, we got work to do. There's no fire in this room. We're all fine. Okay, so there are 4 different ways that we are going to look at of making cheese. We'll do one at a time. We're not writing anything yet. Remember, we're listening to it all, and then you will have time to summarize. So the first, most simple way is you just leave the milk out. Leave it out. Exposed to air and naturally occurring bacteria. So bacteria from the air will get into your milk and cause the reaction. Then you have the bacteria growing, and they produce products that make the protein fall out of the solution in lumps. Okay, so the bacteria comes in, eats the milk protein, and causes an effect that has the curds in the way being separate. Okay, then you take the curds, press it into cheese. All right, that's a very simple way. Our second, nope, nothing was actually on fire, John. We're good. New batches of cheese are started with specific cultures of selected bacteria. So instead of getting bacteria from the air, we can get bacteria from a specific source. These known bacteria also make the enzymes that curdle the milk. Buttermilk has a good culture of lactobacillus bacteria and can be used as a starter. So that will be our second method, is we have milk. This one says yogurt, we're going to use buttermilk. You add that to the milk, and then you let it sit. Anything happens. You get curds and whey. In this case, we have milk is heated, and then that starts the process. All right, so number 1, bacteria from the air. Number 2, bacteria from a specific source, such as buttermilk or yogurt. Now it's a bit more complicated. In this case number 3, new cultures may be started by the addition of purified enzymes. So basically, before the bacteria eat the sugar in the milk and create these enzymes, instead of that, we can just get the enzyme. So we can bypass the bacteria necessity and get just the enzymes. So such as rennin, which is retrieved from the cells lining the stomachs of calves. Rennin is a type of protease, and basically it cleaves the casein protein into small fragments that settle out into curds. So remember, in the milk, we have these proteins, and when you cut them with enzymes, it'll make curds. So instead of having the bacteria make the enzymes that make the curds, we can just take the enzymes to make the curds. Okay? So in this case, we would have to get a cow, and then we need the stomach cells, and then we get the rennin from the stomach, and then we put that in our milk, and then that can cause the curds. Okay? Yes. Yes, but I don't think they wanted to put a baby cow because it seems sad. Which is exactly what is going to lead us to our 4th option. You don't want to be killing baby cows to make milk, to make cheese. We have biotechnology now that can make it better. So in this case, we can get the enzyme, but it's called chymosin in this case. It's also called rennet, or it's called different things. But what we do is we have to have the cow to get the original cell. From the cow's stomach, we get the cell, and from the cell, we get the gene. So we get the renin gene, can be identified and cut out of the cow chromosome. So this is like biotech, fancy technology, right? We splice out the gene, then we put it into a fungus cell. And the fungus cell can then make a bunch of that chymosin for us. So instead of having to take a bunch of cow stomachs, we took one cow stomach. Now we have the DNA, and in a lab, we can mass produce the enzyme using fungus. Because nobody really cares about killing fungus, right? But killing baby cows is a different story. So also, this is more efficient, right? A fungus is going to create this product, this enzyme, way more efficiently, and it's going to cost a lot less money than getting a stomach from a cow. So 3 and 4 are very similar, actually. We're just taking that enzyme, putting it in the milk. It's just, where is that enzyme coming from? Okay, so step 4, we're taking that enzyme and using biotech for a fungus to make, rather than getting it straight from the cow. Okay. So at this point, you guys are going to write. We're going to, when you're done writing. We're going to take 8 minutes. Now, if you feel like you need to see any of that information again, you can take a lab manual. But the worst thing you could do is take the lab manual and copy the first paragraph. Okay? You are summarizing. It would be best if you could just summarize from what you remember rather than necessarily looking at the book. But if you need the book for support, you may get one. You are writing 5 sentences. Can you write 5 sentences in 8 minutes?
No.
Oh, it isn't pen.
Why didn't you just make it summary?
No. Do I need you to write what? No, you don't have to have each letter in a square. That is not a requirement. But do just make it look nice. Yes. You could split it up like that. The different types of methods would be, if you summarize them, would be like, cheese, and then here's 4 ways we can get cheese. Yes. In your lab notebook, under background. Oh, you are on page. It's in the beginning. Lab 1C. It's in the very beginning. Okay. This is going to be quiet writing time. So you have 5 seconds to get quiet. There's still a few more lab manuals in the back if you need one. All right. So one person mentioned that maybe it could be a good idea to shortly summarize your 4 different methods. Okay, you need 5 sentences. You have 4 methods. You would have an intro sentence and then a sentence per method. That could be a good idea. Okay. All right, at this point, you are working independently. You might be sharing a book, but otherwise you're working independently. For 8 minutes, ready, go. I would start underneath. Guys, why are we talking? I'll show you my book. So you have background written. You're gonna start beneath that. Yes. The four methods are the pictures. You have four pictures. Those are the four methods.
That would be good.
All right. So you have background. You're gonna start your sentence right underneath that title. Background. Guys, seriously, independent. Oh. Five sentences. Five quick sentences. Doesn't have to be a giant paragraph. Realistically, left hand, see my decimal. If you need to go to 6 or 7 sentences, that's okay. But minimum of 5. My question is, are you going to fit 5 sentences before you get purpose? So maybe you shouldn't have written purpose yet. I know, but what if you write bigger than that? You're gonna have to squish your 5 sentences. It's probably best to write your paragraph before you do your heads. Okay, so just make sure you fit your 5 sentences in the space. You can. I was just mostly showing format. But if you that makes sense to you, yeah. We're still supposed to be talking more quiet. I think it'd be good to start with the sentences. Really, the industry's been around a long time. Yeah. That's fine. Whatever you're putting, and then you have 4 different methods, right? 4 different methods. I would put a sentence in each. Okay. So the methods are explained here, also the little labels on the pages. But it is only 5 sentences. You really want to shorten summary. All right, we need to move on. A little bit more time. Also,
The last like
these are mine. Check the front. If it's close like this one is close enough. That's fine. There's something of yours that was wrong.
it might
Like this one, that's not even close. Change that. Yes. Nose check. Everybody check your nose. Cover it.
sir.
No.
It's no office is called.
This one, basically what you do is that it's milk plus milk crippling bacteria. Basically, it's a certain bacteria that's going to curdle. So the second one, you just have milk and you add a specific milk curdling bacteria to it. Yeah. Yeah, I would say we get DNA for the enzyme in the past. put that DNA in, so it's fungus, which makes,
I didn't really see it because it was in this school.
which is added to.
Numbers,
So they take
Ones. but like he actually doesn't touch your bonds, only the numbers. They're like this.
This one is an enzyme or
At least, well, no, like the girls on that, they never touch it. For some reason, all the guy dogs like it. And they even like, they even like inspecting my.
They do it every time.
My girlfriend just goes here, and then I'm like,
So this one is enzyme that ferments the milk.
girls,
Comes from the calcium. Enzyme is basically gonna create.
bro, I should become a dog. I should- I'd be like, oh, you think I'm good?
And when you add it to milk, it's
Huh?
gonna cause
I'd be like,
So the enzyme
oh,
is made
uh-oh,
this one, the enzyme is extracted from the calcium and then added
There's something wrong in there. Let me inspect. It's not wrong.
Hold on a minute. Let me get a more.
So
Put
put,
a camera on top.
another method is extracting the milk.
I gotta try it.
You don't have to be on one.
Dude, the one day where everybody wanted to play. Bro, they tease them. No, but yeah, we gotta use it. We played for a little bit.
If you don't have 5 sentences yet, you have very little time to finish. Also, you could have. From a calcium.
Do you remember playing volleyball? Dude, I hurt my. I have one of
You're
those.
having a break. Yeah, if you just want to move on.
I remember
Like probably
like.
Were you there? And you like way more than I did.
If you guys are waiting, if you guys, hold on. If you guys are waiting, you can start your purpose. Notice when your paragraph is done, skip like 1 or 2 boxes. And then write purpose. You're gonna copy the purpose exactly from the book. You don't have to write your own thoughts. Yep, copy it exactly from the book. All right, it's like 3 sentences, I think. Copy it exactly from the book. Okay, that's all. Okay, sure. The last one is. So in this one, cow DNA. And put it into a fungus cell, which makes.
Oh, you have to write the purpose?
And inserting it into a fungus.
No, that's not what you have to come out of it.
Which will then. Make the milk.
No, there's no orange. There's no orange. Chemosome,
Just start with the purpose. Yeah, you can do purpose.
what? Anyway, is
You guys need help?
No.
How do you think?
Try mostly.
What did I
Oh,
say?
what? Ooh.
But wait on the materials.
No, not that.
Yeah, you want our help though. You want our help. And we're doing. Okay.
And if you have time, you can't do the
Everything's
hypothesis.
crossing now. Get one initial in the day.
You just put them all together. You don't have to.
Cross it out, and then you put out. Mine would be eight.
Fast and what that you have.
Yes.
Yeah, right? Okay, okay.
Between tasks, done.
Oh.
Wait, you know what you're supposed to do?
No, I'm a fit to
You. You're
That'll take a lot of money.
supposed to talk about
No.
And then-
No, look, that's the milk.
So now, yeah, put the date and you.
Write it up from past.
I thought it just.
I'm asking you.
Gosh,
One second, please. John, I'm reading your chat real quick.
That'd be good.
Okay. If you're finishing, please finish quietly. So you should have your background. This is going to be kind of a normal process for us. So it might even be something that turns into homework. This is the first lab. So we're doing it slow and together to make sure you do it right. As we move on in labs, I'm going to go a bit faster, give you more responsibility on your own with a little less guidance from me, okay, each time. So we're going to step it up each time. Yeah. So we have our background section written. We understand basically what's happening, how we get cheese. We take this bacteria or enzymes, which cause a chemical reaction in the milk, which causes our curds to separate from the liquid, giving us what will be cheese. Okay, so we understand basically cheese. The next thing, which I know you guys, some of you are already working on, is the purpose. So if you want to keep writing that, that would be great. I am going to end class with this video, just so it'll show you how one company makes their cheese. Once you get to hypothesis, stop. I need everybody to hear me. Do not copy the materials. Do not copy the materials yet. You can do purpose and hypothesis. And once you get done with that, you're done for the day. But I am going to play this video in the background. Yes.
Artisan cheeses on the shelf, Guns Hill Artisan Cheese has perfected the long and complex art of crafting cheese. Cheesemaker Shep Eiselstein studied the craft of making cheese in Switzerland, and now produces 3 types of cheese: Handeck, Oxford's Harvest, and Five Brothers, all of which are variations of lesser-known Swiss-type cheeses. This is a look at how the Five Brothers cheese is made. Guns Hill uses milk from cows raised on the family farm. Only pure whole milk is used. The process of turning the milk into cheese involves 9 basic steps. First, the milk is pumped into the cheese vat where it is pasteurized. Pasteurization involves heating the milk to 63 degrees Celsius for half an hour. This kills the unwanted bacteria. After that, the starter culture is added. This is a very specific type of bacteria, which eats the lactose in the milk and creates lactic acid. Different strains are used in different types of cheese. An hour later, rennet is added. Rennet is an enzyme which helps coagulate or thicken the milk. It turns into a jello-like mass. A key step is to determine when the milk is at the right thickness. Then the mass is cut into small pieces known as curds. The size of cheese curds varies by hardness. For Five Brothers cheese, curds are cut to the size of a kernel. The yellowish liquid is whey. As the curds shrink, they push out this whey and become harder. To help them shrink, they must be heated. With the Five Brothers cheese, some whey is removed and hot water is added. The hotter the water, the drier the cheese will be. The curds are then removed from the vat and put through the drain table. The whey filters out and is removed. The curds form a mass at the bottom. When the draining is completed, 6 hours after the milk was first pumped in, the mass of curds can be cut into squares that will fit into plastic molds. The curds are then pressed together. This squeezes out more of the whey and pushes all of the individual curds together into one solid cheese. The pressing stage can take 20 minutes or an entire night depending on the desired hardness. The newly formed cheeses must then be dunked into salt water. The salt is slowly absorbed into the cheese, which prevents bacteria from growing and improves texture and flavor. These cheeses will sit in the brine for 2 days. Finally, the cheese is aged. This helps develop the flavor. The room is kept at 12 degrees Celsius or 90% humidity. The cheese must be turned every other day and washed with a saltwater solution. The cheese slowly starts to turn orange thanks to a desired bacteria that grows on the outside. Some cheese factories add coatings and dyes, but Guns Hill prefers to allow this process to occur naturally. After aging for between 2 months for a mild cheese and up to 2 years for a strong cheese, it is finally ready to eat. Take a moment to taste the delicious masterpieces crafted by Guns Hill Artisan Cheese.
I can't eat in class. Okay. Like I said yesterday, we are going to focus on being productive here in advisory. So you may put your lab manuals back. You may put your lab notebooks back. If you have your paragraphs done and your purpose and your hypothesis. Okay. If not, you should be doing that right now. Ethan, do you need help on your paragraph? Okay, why isn't it done then? Oh, I put your rulers away.
So you're gonna be like, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Because
regrading.
we only have like 2 weeks assignments. I don't want this to be like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm
Because I
gonna
already
read.
did that.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna regrade the cheats tonight, like after school. So if you did it today, anytime, it'll get in there today. All right, I did them all. And I know, I don't know what happened with my importing, but apparently my importing failed me.
I didn't put it back.
Did you do the different one on that day already?
I just did one of the ones that was in my mailbox. That's not fair.
So that doesn't count. I think I noticed that. That one is accounting for next time. You have to do one that's not assigned. So, but you have that one done for next month already. That's good.
I couldn't find one of those. The premium science slide.
Just check recently, because I fixed it recently. All right, John, I'm gonna end. We're in advisory, so I'm going to end the class.